Welcome to The Millionaire Way, the podcast that is dedicated to helping you unlock the secrets to financial freedom and success. I'm your host, Cecilia Brännström. I'm a vocal coach who has helped thousands of people enhance their vocal abilities in both singing and speaking. And in today's episode, we have an extraordinary guest with us who is here to share his remarkable journey and insights into achieving financial independence. Entrepreneur, speaker, and financial specialist Rob Aalders. Thank you, Rob, for joining us in this podcast.
Well, thank you, Cecilia. I'm really happy to be here. I'd also like to thank the audience for tuning in. And you're going to be spending some time with us. So I'd like to thank you for the most valuable thing that you have. That is your time. And so I'll make it well worth your time. I'll bring a lot of energy, a lot of nice stories, and real things that will be of use to you.
Yes, I
W-
am looking forward to hear that. So,
Fantastic.
Rob Aalders, born in Port Said, Egypt, has a life story like no other. The son of a Dutch diplomat, Rob grew up in some of the most politically turbulent regions in the world, gaining a unique perspective on national politics and the human conditions. His journey from a life of privilege to self reliance has been truly inspiring. And Rob, your mission is to guide motivated individuals on the path to financial freedom. And you are here today to share your incredible wisdom with all of us.
That's
So,
correct.
once again, Rob, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, pleasure to be here once more.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, let's start by delving into your incredible background. So, as I mentioned, you grew up in a variety of countries, a lot of countries in the middle of a turbulent geopolitical landscape. Can you share with us how those experiences shaped your perspective on life in success?
Yes, for sure. Well, my father worked with the United Nations, and I grew up in the Middle East, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, South Korea, and I know those areas very well.
Yeah.
Now, being the son of a diplomat, I didn't have that much contact with local people because I was a part of the diplomatic and the elite of a country. So I went to international schools. I went to many different embassy parties, many different functions and things like that, whereby I got into contact with the elite of of a country,
Hmm.
which means I had access to many different ways of thinking. But later in my life, I realized there were the local people, the normal people out on the street, and there were the elite. And these people, the elite, were the decision makers, the rich people, the people that were doing things. So at a certain age, a very young age, I saw that difference. Now, living in the Middle East, I also accepted some of the habits and the mentalities of that area. One of these things is being generous and giving things to other people. However, I have learned from that area of the world that when you give something, you give it without strings attached.
Hmm.
Now, in Europe, we're used to giving, or in the Western culture, we're used to giving something, but a lot of the times we expect something back, which is not really giving. So I've learned that. I grew up. I've experienced three wars. The first one was in Jerusalem, 1967. The second one was India, Pakistan in 1971. and the third one was in Egypt in 1973. 1973 was a very, very special year for me because I went to very many different countries. I was in Thailand when the student uprising was there. I was in Lebanon when the Israeli troops went into that city. I was in Greece, in Athens, when there was a hijacking of a plane. So 1973 was such a real strange year for me. And that's when my parents decided they wanted to send me to a safe country. And so I went to an international boarding school in Holland.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and that was actually the first change, the big change in my life. Um, yeah, can you imagine a young guy, 14 years old, end of August
Hmm.
1974, sitting on a bed in a room with four other beds, and that was the boarding school. Now, I grew up always having servants, always having a luxury life, and I'm sitting there. My uncle and my aunt looked at me, and the house mother of the boarding school, of the house where I was, came into the room and said, "Well, Rob, make up your bed." And I looked at her like, "What are you talking about? I don't even know how to make up a bed." So that's where my journey started into becoming independent, disciplined, and organized. And it was a rude awakening for me because I was an only child.
I can imagine. That must have been quite a challenge for you. But do you have any key lessons you learned during those formative years on the boarding school that and how did they contribute to your success later in life?
Yeah, very good question again. Thank you. When I was in boarding school, I realized you had to learn how to give and take. I learned how to negotiate in things and try and find a consensus. Being disciplined was another very hard lesson I had because I was now in a lifestyle that every minute of the day was planned. So I would wake up, I would, brush my teeth and do that kind of stuff. Then I had to go. The school was actually in a castle, and there I would have my breakfast. And during the breakfast, somebody would come up to me and would say, "Rob, you have to go back to your dorm because your bed wasn't made up nicely." So
Hmm.
I'd have to run back, make up my bed, and be back in time for classes. Now, things like that happened to me. So I learned how to be creative, how to find solutions, but also learn personal discipline. And these were things that I always developed and used for later periods of my life. So when I completed my high school and international baccalaureate at this boarding school, I went to London. And in London, I was at an American college. It was called Richmond International University. There, I had this discipline, but all of a sudden, I was let go. I had to manage things for myself.
Hmm.
And because I had this discipline, I could find a regime very quickly, and I could find friends, and I could connect with other people really quickly.
Hmm.
So I found my way quite well. And wow, London in that time, and I'm talking about 1978, was an amazing, amazing period.
Hmm. I can imagine the punk rock era. You know?
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah.
What Sloane Square, all these areas, man, and Jerry Rafferty with his Carnaby Street area, and yeah, man, Boy George. I knew these people. I saw them, and I grew up with this.
That's so cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing. So interesting to listen to you, Ron.
Thank you.
So I'm a little bit younger. I think when I was in the 70s, I was in diapers. So yeah, incredible to listen to you. So at the age of 52, now we go back in time. You began your journey towards financial independence after losing your job as a logistics manager. Could you tell our listeners about the turning point that pushed you to explore new areas like trading and investing?
Yes, yes, sure, I
Mm,
will. Well, actually, 52 years old, I lost my job. It had two reasons. First one was personal reasons. My
mm,
mother passed away. I was very unhealthy, obese, had a not such a good a lifestyle, and I was working like 18, 19, 20 hours a day. I had a very high feeling of responsibility and wanted to get things done. But the world was changing, and a 52-year-old logistics manager in a company that was rapidly expanding into automation was
mm,
not the guy that they wanted. So there I was, 52 years old. I'd lost my job. I lost my way in life, and I needed to find things. The first thing that came into my mind was to find a new job.
mm,
That's the old way, the traditional way of thinking. And I'd been an employee until my 52nd year. So I thought, you know what? I need to find a new job. And I was really active, but I didn't get answers to my letters. I was never invited for interviews. And then I got into that negative mentality that
mm.
I thought the economy had spit me out. I was done for. It was over for me. And I thought, gee, what am I going to do now? So I went into something that was called network marketing. And I thought, okay, I'm going to, I didn't have a feeling for business, but I thought this is something maybe I can create income. I was looking for income. And I arrived at my first event, which was called the National Achievers Congress in Amsterdam. Now, I walked in there with a suit, a briefcase, samples, and I thought I was going to make it. There were 2,000 people there. Half of them I thought were my clients, and the other half were going to be my new business partners. Ah, gosh, I walked in there. My God, people jumping around, happy, clapping, really motivated speakers. This lady walked up to me. No, she ran up to me. She said, "Hey, are you here for Robert?" I'm like, "Who?" "Robert Kiyosaki." "Who?" "Rich Dad, Poor Dad." I'm like, "Oh, what? Am I missing something?" And I stayed. And now in the afternoon, I saw this English fellow, quite a small guy, standing on stage, and he was saying, "The first secret to stock trading is buy low and sell high." And I thought, you don't have to be a genius to know that. So, what was my own reaction? Crossing my hands, leaning back. And he said, the second secret to stock trading is buying high and selling low. All of a sudden, I was up. I thought, whoa, what's going on here? This one I don't know. And I listened to him. His name was Marcus de Maria. And
Oh,
this fellow was
mm.
going to be my mentor, my business partner, and my friend. I didn't know that. I just saw him. I thought, wow, quite an interesting
Wow.
guy, beautiful English accent, and quite a serious fellow. So I started, it wasn't like the heavens opened and ta-da, stock trading, but I thought I need to investigate this a bit more. And I did. I went to London and I was an unemployed person. I had Yeah, I had a bit of savings, but I couldn't touch my golden handshake from the company because then I'd have to pay a lot of taxes. So I thought, I'm not going to do that.
Hmm.
So I went to London and I went there for a 1 day stock trading and investing introduction. I went there and I remember I was looking at things, finding things out, strategies, and I came back to Holland. At that time, my wife was working. I had two young children, which were in elementary school. So I was the stay at home dad and I had to take care. So, in between being a dad and a husband and taking care of the house, doing shopping and stuff, I started learning about trading and investing.
And that was all because of Marcus de Maria. You,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Okay, so
yeah,
it's the event that made you choose trading and investment.
yeah.
Okay.
And then I found out Marcus de Maria was also a trainer for the Millionaire Mind Intensive.
Oh, okay.
And I went to the first one in Amsterdam. Arnon Barnes was the trainer there or assistant trainer. And I still have a video of my first time on stage when everybody was celebrating my birthday. I still
Wow.
have that in my telephone.
Cool. So
And
what so what year what are we talking about? Which year was
that
this?
was 19, well, let's say 1990, 2012, lost my 2014, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2014.
Mhm.
And it it opened my eyes. I saw something there which was called the pillars of wealth.
Mm.
And people around me were really enthusiastic, but I got angry. I was flushed in my face. I was angry. And I was like, I should have seen this 20 years ago because this was a plan that all I needed to do was to follow and show me what I needed to do. And I absorbed the plan. I didn't listen, I absorbed it.
Hmm.
And I put this plan into practice. And 3.5 years later, I was financially free.
Wow, that's so amazing.
Yeah. But it took a lot of determination, a lot of development, personal development, learning new skills. And I started a coaching company trying to learn how to coach because I always believe if you want to learn something, do it. So learn and do, learn and do. And
Yeah.
you're going to make mistakes. Mistakes are not bad. We came from school, and at school they told us don't make mistakes. But actually, making mistakes is part of the learning process. And so
Yeah.
I've been able to turn that into something. And I tell my students, yeah, you made a mistake. It means you're learning.
Of course.
So I'm changing that around totally.
Yeah. So many of us are afraid of making mistakes, but as you said, it's the only way to learn and to grow and to get better, really, to make mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And forgive yourself for that.
Mhm.
Be really nice to yourself about that.
Mm.
But if you make the same mistake twice, well, then you're a bit of a donkey and don't do that. And I always later, when I developed a better mindset, I always thought, you know what? The nicest way to learn is by learning and learning from somebody else's mistakes.
Yeah.
But then you're an expert.
Yes, of course. That is so important knowledge and such a great advice, to learn from someone who has already made the mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I think when we talked we had a conversation in a previous conversation. I remember this very well. This quote that you mentioned. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah.
How, yeah, how does this philosophy resonate with your journey? And what insights can our listeners gain from this mindset?
Okay. Now it's over with sitting back and listening very relaxed. Take a pen, a piece of paper. How you do anything is how you do everything is based on something which is called the wheel of life. And this wheel of life is based into four different type of worlds. It's the inner world, it's the mind, it's the outer world, and in the fourth world is your own personal world where you live.
Hmm.
And all the things in there is divided into 8 sections: your career, your happiness,
Yeah.
your relationships, your fun time, your education, and things like that. And it's all included in that wheel of life. Now, if you look at the wheel of life and you take the 3 things that are not working in your life and you make a plan to improve those, you're going to find something very special happening. And that is, when you're busy with the 3 worst things in your life, the other things will improve as well. They're interconnected.
Hmm.
So when you're busy improving the 3 worst things in your life, other things in your life will improve as well. And so when you start doing something positive, it'll affect other things. And that's why I say, okay, so you need to be aware of how you do things. You need to be aware of how you need to change, because it's not the expression is not, and one day you were a millionaire. No, it's the road you need to take to
Hmm.
become a millionaire. It means you need to have habits, you need
Yeah.
to have a way of thinking, you need to have aspirations. And Marcus told me in his testimonial about me, the one thing that Rob has had was he thought he was a millionaire before he really was a millionaire. So you need to
Hmm.
act, you need to feel, you need to breathe like a millionaire before you become one.
Yeah.
So, so if you're stuck in a job and you want a promotion, start acting like the person that has already gotten the promotion. And then people will look at you and think, hey, wait, the way that he's doing things now, he's ready for something new.
Yeah, it's all about energies.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yes, of course. It's about and energy and value.
Hmm. That's a really good advice, to think that you are a millionaire before you really becomes a millionaire, to have that mindset, that positive mindset. I am
It's
rich.
it's not only about the positive mindset, it's also, look, we all have the same demons in our head.
Hmm. Yeah.
But I think people that haven't developed themselves yet, or are not in the place that they want to be, and I don't like the saying poor people, because poor always sounds like, oh, they don't have money.
Hmm.
But poor people don't have the mindset, don't have the abundance, don't have the money, don't have the resources, and in that way they think in not in possibilities. Rich people, millionaires, think in possibilities. But we have the same fear as poor people, but we do it anyway. And that's the difference. A millionaire has the same fears in his mind, but does it anyway, takes action. And that's what poor people usually don't do. The fear stops them and they don't take action.
Yeah. But was it Tony Robbins that said, or was the quote, if you try one thing and it doesn't work, try another approach. If that doesn't work, try another way until you succeed. Never give up. Just find another way. Just keep doing it until you succeed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sayings that have a meaning for this one. It is also aim, yeah. So ready, aim,
Hmm.
then you look, then you fire. It's not the right way of doing things. Go ready and start shooting like crazy, see where the bullets come, and then adjust. And then adjust. In the event, at the end, you will hit your target. You will hit your
Yeah.
target.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about taking massive action. Take massive action. Just do it. Get outside of your comfort zone, really.
Well, yeah,
Challenge
for
yourself.
sure. But
Yeah.
okay, the comfort zone is another thing that's
Mm.
usually misquoted because next to your comfort zone is the fear zone. So when you leave your comfort zone, you get into the fear zone.
Yeah, for
And the
sure.
fear zone makes you afraid. Now we're human beings. So when we're in the fear zone, we go back to the place that we were comfortable, which is the comfort zone. But you need to change that way of thinking. You need to, because the next zone next to the fear zone is the
Mm.
learning zone.
Yeah.
So when you're in the fear zone, say, great, I'm out of my comfort zone. Now I need to find where is the learning zone. And I don't need to go back to the comfort zone. So when you feel the fear, think I'm learning, I'm going forward, I'm growing, but I
Yeah.
need to find the next zone, which is the learning zone and not the comfort zone. Don't go back, always go forward.
Mm. Yeah. That was good. Good
Yeah,
advice.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And you already mentioned it, but throughout your life, you faced adversity and you made incredible transformations. And what is one of the toughest challenges you had to overcome, and what lessons did you learn from that?
Another great question. Thank you, Cecilia. Well, the thing is, the biggest setback I've had in my life so far that happened actually last year.
Mm.
Um, the beginning of last year, I was very sick. I have diabetes, and I had problems with corona. And I
Mm.
got a small wound on my left foot. And within 3 days, that turned into a life threatening virus. And I
Oh.
ended up in the hospital. And by the end of February last year, I had 3 amputations on my left leg. So I missed the under part. So like 5 centimeters under my left knee, that whole leg is gone. And I was in the hospital. I was thankful for the last amputation because I've had a sparkle in my eye again. I was feeling better. And then I had to climb out of that bad situation.
Mm.
So I started learning how to walk again. But I was very sick. My energy was terrible. My health was terrible. And I started exercising, physical therapy, and a lot of things.
Mm.
But you know, the funny thing is, my brain, my head, my mindset brought me through it. And I always had mantras in my mind. One of the most helpful mantras in my mind was, I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the solution.
Mm.
So I never said, poor me.
Yeah.
I always asked a different question. I said, how can I? How can I? How can I walk faster? How can I dress differently? How can I do this? How can I do that? And that helped me a lot. And I started reading about also mindset things, but I stumbled up to this guy called Mo Gaudar. He's a fellow from Egypt. He was the number two in Google. And this guy lost his son in an operation. His son was around 18 years old, had an appendicitis operation, very simple operation, and his son passed away.
Ooh.
And understandably, Mo went into a depression
Mm.
and started thinking, why me? And then he thought, happiness is an equation. And the equation is the following: when reality meets expectation, that's where you're happy.
Hmm.
That was a big eye opener to me because I'm
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Wow.
I want to be happy. I can't change reality, but I can change my expectation. And now we're coming back to something that you said,
Hmm.
and that was you need to change your perspective on things.
Yeah.
So that's how you don't change reality, but you change your expectations by looking at a problem or a something from a different side, looking at it from all different sides. So that's what I did with my situation. And I said, okay, I can't change reality, but I can change my expectations. And in that way, I became a happy person.
Yeah.
Now, a happy person has the normal challenges, has the normal things that they need to face, but you're always in control. Because where do expectations lie? In the future.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
how can you influence your future? By living in today. What you do today influences your future. So whenever I find myself going back in time or forward in time, I tell my brain, oh, no, no, we need to get back into the present
Mm.
because what I do today will influence my future.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's great advice. And it is only you that can determine whether you are happy or not. Nobody else. It's you. It's from here.
Yeah, it's a decision. You need
It's
to
a decision.
decide to be happy.
Mm. Hmm.
Yes.
Yes, it's mindset, really.
Yeah, so that's how I came through that whole situation.
Yeah.
And it was not fun. It was very hard, but actually, I quite enjoyed the journey because I embraced it, and I never. Yeah, I it is something terrible to happen to someone,
Yeah.
for sure, but I concentrated on how do I become better, how do I do things, and today, if you'll meet me, you'll not even realize that I have a fake leg because I walk a little funny, but you don't
Mm.
think, oh, he's missing his leg.
Yeah.
So, and through this, I want to inspire people. I want to help them, and it's not only
Mm.
about the money, but that's my speciality. It's my way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Um, and I love numbers. Numbers are my thing, and I love it. I and money is not, money is a result of something. It's never the goal. So if you're not doing things well, you have a lack of money. If you need to do differently, it's a lack of money. But if your goal is, let's say, as a business person, to become successful, the readout, the printout is your money. How
Mm.
much turnover and profit are you making? But if you don't have enough profit, the first step that you need to think and make is create more value. So don't waste more money on marketing and other things, but think, okay, I need to create more value.
Mm.
Because the money, if you're not happy with the money at the end, it means you're not creating enough value. So don't think of how can I make more money, but think of how can I make more value so I have more money.
Yeah, and money becomes a product of that. You add
Yeah,
value, and you solve solutions, you give solutions, you solve problems and give solutions to people, and then the money will come.
yes, for sure, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. So, incredible story. Thank you so much for sharing that. And the contrast makes you grow. So you need the contrast, and your journey with the COVID and the amputation, that is really remarkable. But you have the right mindset, and you grow, and you become a better person out of that.
Well, yeah, you say it's remarkable, but actually it's not. The whole world was affected by COVID. People lost their jobs,
Yeah.
people lost their businesses, people became sick, people lost their loved ones. Everybody had something that that happened in COVID.
Hmm.
So I'm aware that my situation is actually not that unique. And everybody's looking for an answer. So, like my mentality, I don't want to become part of the problem. I want to become part of the solution. So, my way of inspiring people is by the way I behave, the
Hmm.
way I do things, that people will look at me and say, wait a minute, hey, I need to look at him. I need to follow him. I need to listen to him because he experienced the same thing that I did, but in a different way. So it's not about me. It's not about my problem. It's about everybody's problem. And there's not enough leadership in this world whereby people think, wait a minute, I need to follow that guy. Because the world needs leaders. You've got to agree with me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So looking ahead now, what are your plans and aspirations for the future? How do you envision continuing to make positive impact for other people out there? What is your
Well,
plan?
you're going to love me for the next quote. And it's a quote.
Okay.
It's a quote by my mentor, a very special man. His name is Blair Singer.
Oh,
And he always says, teachers are leaders.
yeah.
So I don't want to focus on being a leader. I want to focus on being a teacher. And I need to help people in financial and spiritual ways. Finances is something I'm really good in because I have that discipline from my youth. I have this creative way of thinking from my youth and the new mindset. So I'm here to teach people how to invest, how to trade, how to think about money. And it's not a new message, but it's a new perspective.
Mm.
So I'm here to become a new leader through teaching and an example. So that's the way I go forward. I will be a teacher, a trainer, a mentor, and a coach, and help people go forward in a friendly and in a nice way.
Mm.
And if you want to change your finances, you know what you need to do. One side is what your income is, the other side is your bills, your outcome. And if there's a difference in that, you either need to invest it or you have debt. And
Mm.
personal debt is something that kills. But like Nelson Mandela said, poverty is a man made thing, and it's up to man to solve it. So I want to be the teacher that will take away poverty in this world
Mm.
because we created it, we should solve it.
Oh, I love it. That's that's cool. I love it. Yeah. So we covered a lot of things today, and I am sure the listeners are eager to learn more from you. You're amazing, Rob. But before we wrap it up, is there anything else you'd like to share or any final thoughts?
Yes, I have something really special for you.
Ah.
At the end of next week, on Friday, there's going to be a very, very special webinar. And it's a very unique happening. It's nothing
Mm.
ordinary. Actually, it's really special.
Yeah.
It's on the one side, somebody, a specialist in the voice and how to use it.
Yes, and that is me.
That is Cecilia. And
Yeah.
on the other side, there's a person, a corporate sales specialist.
Yeah.
And this lady, I'll keep her a secret up to now, but you've got to be on that webinar
It's a special
because
thing.
this combination is unique
Mhm.
because everything in your life is about sales. That's how you got your partner.
Mhm.
That's how you went to school. That's how you choose the food that you eat daily. That's how you get blood into your business through sales.
Mhm.
Sales and your voice is a unique combination. And in that webinar, we're going to teach you how to implement it this year, not next year, not in the year after that, this year. So you can close 2023 as your best year ever. How does that sound? I
That
think it's
is
fantastic.
amazing. And we are, as you said, Rob, going to discover the secrets to mastering vocal technique and modulations and develop a winning sale mindset. Embrace charisma and body language for effective and attractive communication.
That's it.
That, that's it. And it's on Friday, the 27th of October, 7 p.m. CET. So you cannot miss this exclusive webinar with me, Cecilia, and Rob as hosts, and with our special guest.
Well, let me put it even a little further.
Okay, do that.
If you're complaining about your sales, about your business, and about a lot of different things, and next year you're going to think, I never had the opportunity, I never had the chance to do anything about it, not true. Because you missed the
Mm.
opportunity as this Friday. You weren't there. And it's all about a decision. How you do anything is how you do everything.
Everything, yes.
So do whatever it takes to be on that webinar.
Of course you will. Thank you, Rob, for joining us on The Millionaire Way. And your story is truly inspiring. It's so
Thank you
amazing
very
to listen
much.
to you. And to all our listeners, remember what Rob just said, and that the path to success might be challenging, but with dedication and the right mindset, you can achieve the impossible. So that's a wrap for today's episode. And if you enjoy the show, please subscribe and leave a review and share it with your friends. And stay tuned for more inspiring conversations on the millionaire way. And until next time, keep pursuing your dreams and unlocking the doors to financial freedom. See you soon. Bye.
Bye for now. See you next time.